What is good, Life Podcast? What is good? Welcome back. Welcome back. I know we missed out. Low key, we missed out the last two streams, if I'm not mistaken. I think we missed out
Yeah,
on the last two streams, but we back here for the 50, man, for the 49 actually, and then the 50 come
49.
tomorrow, man. So
Yes, sir.
I know we came on here a little delayed than we would like to, but we back. We here. We gonna keep
Yes, sir.
y'all. We
We
gonna keep
here. We
posting and
here.
stuff like that, man. So. Hey man, how was your week?
Ooh,
How was your
yeah,
whole
yeah,
week,
yeah.
man?
Really good week. Actually just got partnered up with this dude. Me and this dude been working together, so
Okay.
had a good week when it comes to communicating with people, finding new people in my area and things like that. So that's pretty dope. We've been I do I work from home. I do high ticket sales, so pretty smooth week on that. A lot of calls been booked. A lot of deals been closed. So that's a W. Start off with that.
Yes, sir.
Um, just finding yourself now again. So it feels good. Really, really good week. Really, really good week. Honestly. What about you, bro?
Honestly, bro, my week was pretty good as well, bro. Been having a lot of growth as well. When it comes down to my content, I've been getting into posting two times now instead of how I was posting one time a day before. I'm getting into posting two times a day, so definitely more time has been spent on editing. So while I'm just spending more time editing, more time at home, I'm just learning a lot about myself, still growing with myself as like I'm doing these edits and stuff like that. So this
Yeah,
week
for
has
sure. That's
definitely
good.
been one of those where I've been also cutting out like, as much music. I've been listening to like there was this dude, he was telling me to listen to like vibrational music or like vibrational sounds and stuff like that. And at first I had listened to it before and then I had stopped and I got back into like rap and stuff like that for a little bit. So yeah, I'm getting back into that and like trying to block out from listening to outside music as much,
That's
even though I
dope.
don't let
That's
it
dope.
like direct my like play with my emotions anymore. Like I don't let the music carry how I carry myself. But still though, that's still
Yeah.
something that we all need to learn because at the end of the day, it
Dope.
can get addicting to the point where you stop thinking about I'm in
That's dope.
control. You let the music control you on some shit. So yeah,
That's fire. I know this is off topic, but that's actually pretty fire. So like in Islam, the reason we listen to the Quran like and we recite it is because it goes out of a vibration frequency. So like the way we recite, that's why we don't read the Quran. We recite the Quran in Arabic. So like a lot of the people they just
it sound
that's
like
why we say, oh,
vibration.
just listen to the Quran. Yeah, it's just a vibration. So like it comes at different pitches and different things like that.
I like
So
that you said.
vibration and music is really good too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
Not music, it's just that vibration.
yeah, I know what
Yeah,
you mean.
I'm
I
it's
know
not
what you
just
quite
mean.
sure how to
Alexa,
help you.
stop.
yeah.
I know what you mean because there was a I used to this dude I was cool with, bro. I went to his crib one time and like at night his family was praying and they were Muslim and you can hear them like it's kind of it
That
just sounds like
recitation.
vibration. It just sounds like
Yeah.
they're making like type of noise, but they're really praying.
Yeah, it's
So
yeah.
I
Yeah, yeah,
definitely I
yeah, yeah,
definitely
yeah.
get that. That's fire, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's fire.
So that's why like a lot of like me personally, I go to
Mhm.
sleep to the Quran, like because it keeps my vibration at a steady frequency. It can like just relax your body, nurtures your mind and your heart. It's good for the heart.
Yeah.
Like any vibration is good for the heart.
I like that, man.
Yeah.
And getting into
So that's why.
today's questions about energy and stuff like that, man. Is being
Yeah.
private protecting your energy or hiding your potential?
Oh, this is a great question. This is a question. I think this is more of one of those like who you are type of question. But I'm a for sure me, the type of person I am, I'm gonna lean onto the is blocking your potential. And it's the
Okay.
truth. That's just me though. Everyone has different perspectives, everyone have different views. But me and my opinion, I think a lot of times they can be blocking somebody's potential just because they feel like, they can't do this pose, so they can't do this pose. Or why should somebody know this X, Y, and Z about me when it could be something so small, right? It can be something so like simple. It can be one of those things that I just say, a person can be just working out. You can easily just post a video you working out, but a person can be say, "Oh, I don't want people to see me, my gains, or I don't want a person to think I'm trying to show off, something like that." So I think a lot of the times, in my opinion, I think a person could be blocking their potential. What about you, bro?
I agree, bro. Like, I'm leaning towards the hiding your potential side because, I feel like, once you like protect your energy, like keeping it private is more so like you do it out of own security, like your own security. You just do it because you feel safe with just keeping it to yourself. But in reality, it's really like limiting your potential because if you're at a point where let's say let's say you keep trying to protect your energy, right? But in reality,
Yeah.
sometimes all we need as humans is to let it go, to talk about it, right? And if you're
Yeah.
always protecting that energy, you're protecting, what you need to let out, then you can't move on from that thing. I feel like sometimes when we hold things inside, when we try to protect our energy so much, we hold too much in to the point where it's like we don't be free from that, whatever that is, right? Like say if it
Yeah.
was um I don't know, like say you just had something going on in your life, right? Obviously, you don't need to tell everybody everything that's going on, but I feel like once you want to move on from a certain thing, like say you got something on your mind, say it's something that you don't want to tell others, it's most likely something that can be easily talked about, or you just need to say it to somebody, and that
Yeah.
truly can free you from that thought. Because sometimes keeping those thoughts inside your head can limit you because you can't think of new things now. Now you can't have new stuff come into your head because you still have the old same stuff stuck on your head because you never
I
moved
like
on
that.
from it. And one thing I realized from myself is I went through a phase where I kept my energy private, and I realized that keeping it private only made me feel worse as myself because I was just holding in a lot of guilt. I was holding in a lot of different things instead of just letting it be free. Because once you let it be free, you don't care about how you're viewed anymore. You don't care about what anybody thinks of you no more. You're free from trauma. You're free from what you've been through. You're free from all the thoughts that you used to have. And now you can now move on with your life. Now you can do the things that you want to do without having that same stuck mindset. So I definitely think that it hides your potential once you keep it private.
Okay. I like that. So like, when it comes down to it, right? It's always two sides of everything. Like how do you feel about, the protecting side? Because it's not all the way bad. Like what do you
Right.
think of like the positives of the protecting your peace side?
So when it comes down to protecting your peace, the positive sides, I mean, when for the most part, when you're protecting your peace, I would say you're not giving everybody access to you, which you shouldn't, right? And I think that's something that we all should learn, and that's a good way to protect your peace is not giving everybody access to you, right? So if you know that, some people that you meet, like if you just go out randomly, right, to the store or whatever, and some random person try to talk to you, obviously you don't want to give them all the access to yourself. So in those moments, those are moments where you need to, be more private about yourself, be more, within yourself, right? Or if you, let's say you become like famous or whatever, like keep certain things private. I feel like certain things have the ability to stay private, like relationships. I mean, you can keep it private or public, but I feel like, for the most part, just to protect your relationship, not from yourself, but from other people around, would be to be private, right? Because, a lot of people like to ruin things when it becomes public. Um, so that's one thing I'll say about keeping it private. But for the most part, being more public, even with yourself, say you going through something, you being more public, speaking on it, will allow somebody else to learn something within their life, right? Or if you want to continue to protect your energy, I say, like I'm trying to give some ways you can protect your energy because I don't think it's a good thing to always keep your like protect your energy. I feel like you should be able to at least keep certain things to yourself, like maybe your financial to yourself, maybe where you live to yourself. Certain things like that should be private. But when it comes down to like thoughts and like stuff that you're doing, I feel like you should be okay with letting those things go sometimes. Sometimes telling a friend, sometimes telling somebody, right? Like obviously certain things should be private. Like if you were doing woo to woo with a person, right? Like those are things that you don't want to tell everybody. Those are things you can keep to yourself.
Hmm.
But if you learn some things, maybe you used to be a like for myself. Like I said, I used to keep things in. Like I used to keep in like, oh, I used to talk to a lot of females. I used to do this. I used to do that. But now that I'm free from
Hmm.
it, I can now talk to it and be free about it. You get what I'm saying? Like it doesn't hold on me no more. Like now I don't care if somebody be like, damn, you used to be a hoe. You're right. I did. I used to be one. And that's me forgiving myself now. And I think bro, I think the most part is like when we're protecting ourselves, like we don't forgive ourselves when we're protecting ourselves. We don't forgive ourselves for what we have done, for the bad that we have done, for the bad other people have done, right? And that, like, once I forgave myself for everything that I did wrong in my own ways, then that was when I was able to be at peace. When I was able to like just be open with everything. Like now I could just talk about things that happen. Like, yeah, I used to do what I do with girls, bro. It is what it is. I'm human, but I grew from it. And that's the main part, is like you grow from it, you learn from it. It's not that I'm staying the same now. When you keeping it private, I think you stay the same. You're trying to stay the same. You get what I'm saying? Like you don't let it go. So it's like something that's on the back of your mind, and that's something that you could easily turn back to. Like if I was just protecting who I used to be, then that means like the newer version of me, I wouldn't let out, because I'm still holding on to my old version. And if you still holding
Mm.
on to the old version, then you're still protecting that. You get what I'm saying? Once you let that go, that's when you find your true potential, because now it's just you doing what you got to do for yourself. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
like that. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. I like that for
But
sure.
yeah.
That's deep for sure.
What you think though? That's a good question, bro. Like, what's some good things about
Um,
protecting your peace, protecting your energy?
I think I think the most important thing about protecting your peace and protecting your energy is you have a standard, right?
Ooh, I like
And
that.
that's why, the biggest thing, the reason I asked you this question is, a lot of the times we think we can't we you're always going to be protecting your peace. It's
Yeah.
just your standard goes to another level. And the people who protect they're so big on protecting their peace, they don't realize, but they have a lower standard. And the reason I
Mhm.
say they have a lower standard, because they have more defense, they have a higher guard, so
Ooh,
they're more insecure, they're more worried, they're more feel like to be judged, right? And the reason I went on the opposite side of this question, on the reason I feel like, put yourself out there, let your story be known, is because a person who does that, they have more self confidence, they have more of a higher belief, more of an understanding of themselves.
yeah,
And a person that has more of an understanding of themselves, they're always protecting themselves. You know what I'm saying? And they just have a higher standard. They just expect certain things. And the way a
yeah,
person protects themselves is they're not going to put themselves in situations where they can be harmed. That makes sense. And they're not going to put themselves in a situation to where they have to like face a certain battle. They avoid battles early. They avoid, the things that they know wouldn't please them. So they're able to put themselves out more. They're not going to post a video of them smoking. They're not going to post a video of them, trying to go have sex. They're not going to do certain
yeah,
things. They're going to be more presentable. They're going to like have more of a higher standard for themselves. And that's the real way to protect your peace. That's the real way to, really value yourself. And that's the word right there. Like, a person who protects their peace is a person who values themselves, a person who cares for themselves, a person who just have that self-respect. And there's no
facts.
diss to people who's like, who's really protecting their peace, and et cetera, et cetera. It's just a person who has more defense up, more of a guard up. They're not really like, they're not open, right? You can't be open when you have such a strong defense.
Yeah,
Um, and I think like the positive with that though, and of course we all have to go through that phase, is you actually learn yourself, right? You actually get to be able to like sit in your thoughts. You actually be able to like get to win, because
facts.
it's not a losing season. It's not a losing season at all. To me, it's probably one of the real winning seasons, because that's when you're being like most developed at. You feel what I'm saying? Um, yeah, that's my standpoint on it. And I think, like, to like go back to what I was saying, when it comes down to like, self-respect and like knowing yourself, you have to also be able to respect others, because that's the only way you really
Mm,
gain respect, right? Like,
yeah,
you can't be this up high boss, want to be a bossy person, this, and you're not showing nobody respect, because you have no real peace for yourself, right? Because if you really, have respect for yourself, if you was really at peace with yourself, you would understand certain situations. You would be more aware. You would be more like, inclined to helping people. I think that's one of the biggest thing when it comes down like to peace, right? You can be a person who protects their peace, and they're just like, you know what, I don't got time for anyone. I'm gonna stay in my own lane. I'm gonna stay focused.
Yeah.
This. Or you can be a person who's, you know what, I know my piece, I know my worth. Why not share a little bit of advice with this person? Why not help this person? And doing that increases you, like mentally, physically, spiritually, in all sorts of
Yeah.
ways. And the way it increases you most in like this time of topic, the more energy you share, the more energy you receive. But you receive energy from the higher up. You receive energy from the highest, the highest of the high, God, of course. And so that's why it's so important that we do these videos, right? Like it's so important. We don't realize it, of course, now, but like a conversation we can have, in episode 20 can relate in episode 75, and we're gonna see how we grew off that. You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's so important to always share knowledge and always like help, right? Because if you're helping someone, God is helping you to be able to relay that message, right? God is helping you to be able to like have knowledge, to be able to retain that information, to give it off to someone who doesn't have that information. And that's just an act of charity right then and there. So you know helping people and you know giving out is charity. It's doesn't Charity is not always money. Charity isn't always food. This. Charity can be knowledge. So you always want to be able to like seek for knowledge to give knowledge, right? And
Yeah.
so if you like holding yourself back, you're not really pushing yourself to that next level. You're not, you're holding your potential back. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts. I agree, bro. And to add on to what you were saying, like also about all this, don't feel like don't feel like people have to give you something back when you're helping them. Like don't feel
Yeah,
like you need something in return or like that you're guaranteed something in return because
yeah,
sometimes it's not always that you're guaranteed something in return. Sometimes you're just in somebody's life to help them out with what they got going on. God just placed you in
yeah,
that position to help them with their situation in that moment, right? And
yeah,
I don't, and I'm saying this as in like, don't get me twisted. Don't get it wrong. God will bless you for sure. But I'm saying don't have that expectation that you're going to get blessed because you did this certain thing. Always
like
feel
that.
like that you can bless somebody else whenever. You can help somebody else whenever. Don't just help people with the mindset that, oh, I'm going to just help because I know that God will do something for me. God knows your heart.
Yeah,
So at the end of the day, don't live like that. Live
I
as a
like that.
true abundance. Truly be genuine. If you want to help somebody, really help them out. You know what I
I
mean?
like that.
Really help them out. Don't feel
Yeah,
like, oh, I gotta help because God is watching me. Want to help because you want to help, right? And God will naturally bless you with the things that you want. But
yeah,
you gotta be genuine about it. You gotta be genuine with the help. You
yeah,
can't try to trick God. That's one thing you can't do. You can't trick God,
yeah.
man. You can't
Because
trick
the
God.
guy, he's all
So
seeing and all knowing. Like he knows everything that goes on.
that's
So.
facts. That's facts,
And
man.
one thing I want to add to that, because I think that's like so important when it comes down to like your peace. A lot of the times, not what we do, but what the devil does, the devil tells you, "Oh, you're not doing this for X, Y, and Z," or "Do you really want to do this for this person?" And so it's a constant battle. And whenever a person is having a constant battle with themselves, what they start to do is they start to close off. They start to say, "You know what? I'm gonna just do this for me. I'm gonna just focus on me. I'm gonna just, maybe I'm not doing enough for somebody else." You feel what I'm saying?
You know?
And those battles, you have to win those battles to be able to express yourself. Because once you win those battles with the just the thought, the thought of you're not doing enough, or the thought of you don't know what you're doing it for, you start to transition into wanting to help more, because you start feeling more at peace with yourself, right? You start to like expand, like how we were just talking about, a minute ago. Once you start helping people, you start to get a feeling of like, oh, this feels good. And once that
Yeah.
feeling, oh, this feels good comes, you want that feeling more. So you start to chase a feeling, and the feeling that you're chasing doesn't require wealth. The feeling that you're chasing doesn't require much. So whenever you get a feeling like that, you want to stick and hold on to that feeling. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
And back to what we are talking about earlier with the vibration. Once you get onto a feeling of peace, your vibration, your frequency is what you expect. Is what you give out. And whatever you get out, whatever your TV broadcast is what you get back in. So whenever you got like a good feeling you're chasing, a feeling of certainty, that's what it is. Whenever you get like a feeling of certainty, a feeling of peace, and a feeling of you know, um, true peace and true happiness, you want to keep chasing that feeling. And the way you keep chasing that feeling is by opening yourself up and letting you get to the next, like, opening up your potential.
That's facts, man. And getting into the next question, bro, like, what is the importance of owning your faith? Mm,
Ooh, this one deep. I feel like this is one of my questions, right? I want to make sure
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I
This is
know
a question.
this topic hit at home. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Um,
talk to me.
the importance of owning your face is everything, bro. Because a lot of the times what we do is we like to go back to the last time we have these battles with ourselves. It's not we the importance of owning your faith is not to say, oh, I'm this person, I'm this person, I'm this person. The importance of owning your faith is to tell yourself that, right? Because you can easily like if we had no social media, we had no this, you know this. Who are you, right? Are you going to still own your faith? Are you still going to show up? Are you still going to do the right things? And then on the opposite side is once you get everything you want, you know, you presented yourself, this. Are you still going to take time off to go do what you got to do that you've been doing? Are you going to stay on a straight path? Are you going to like, you know, let yourself go straight to where you lose all your faith? And you know, it's so big to really value yourself and really hold tight to yourself because we don't realize it, but our faith increases as we increase mentally. That's how it goes. Like the more we learn, the more the ooh, the dang, that's true. The more our faith grows because the more we see. And it sucks to say it, but it's the truth. Like the way we move of humans, we have to see to believe, even though that shouldn't be the case. But the only way we see to believe is by gaining knowledge. And the more knowledge you gain, the more your faith increase. You feel what I'm saying? So
Facts.
the importance of owning your faith is everything, right? Because if you have little faith, you have little knowledge. You have little knowledge, you don't make it far in life, and that's just the truth, right? So you know, faith is the center of everything. It can be something as simple as a relationship, right? If your relationship has little faith in it, your relationship is not going to go as far as it should go. You know, if you have little faith in your parents of like you know raising you, you know, you're gonna end up being raised to be a bum, right? So, faith is everything. You know what I'm saying? What about you, bro?
I agree, bro. I agree. Like faith is everything, bro. It is literally the foundation for everything. Like if you really think about it, faith comes in a lot of different shapes and forms, but faith is one of those things that we have to own, right? Because if you don't own your faith, you're gonna be scared to do things, right? You wouldn't take the next step if you ain't got no
Mhm.
faith. You wouldn't,
Like,
you wouldn't do certain things if you didn't have no faith. Like for example, like every day we don't realize it, but every day we have faith in what we do, right? Like you wake up, you do the same thing again. You have faith that your plan, that you have faith that your day is going to be exactly how you planned it in your head, right? If you somebody that, you go to the gym in the morning, you work out throughout the day, right? Like you have that plan and you know it's going to work. So that's faith right there. You have the faith that you're going to go to the gym, that you're going to work out. And so I just want to put in everybody's head that we all have faith, but it's just like you got to continue to grow in faith. You got to continue to grow your faith. You got to continue to improve your faith. And that comes with learning. Like he says, the more you learn mentally, the more you learn spiritually, is like your faith will just increase because now you will trust God more and more, right? The more you learn about the world, you'll keep seeing new things and you're like, oh shoot, like God made this too, do. You'll start seeing more of God once you just picture everything as God like around you. The more you move, like your faith will increase because everything you look at, you'll understand that it's God. And the more you
yeah,
talk about God, the more you keep God in your mind, it's like the higher your faith increases. It's like there's no ceiling to how much faith you have. And I feel like that's the main thing. There's no ceiling to how much faith you can have. So you need to always grow faith. And one thing about faith though is even though it doesn't have no ceiling, it also doesn't have no floor either because
of
it
course.
can drop too. It can drop
I
too,
like
but
that.
that depends
I
on
like
you.
that.
So it's like always try to continue to keep your faith up. Obviously, you're gonna have some
I like that.
days where your faith may be a little low, but that's where you have to that's why it has to be so strong that on those low days you can get back right and get back to
Yeah,
where you need to be back in the next few days. But that's what I
I
would
like
say,
that.
man.
And to go off that, I think it's so important to understand that like faith can go as high as you wanted to go, and faith can also go as low as you wanted to go, right? And
Mm,
a lot of the
mm.
times you don't realize our faith goes so low because we're stagnant, right? We stay stuck in this system. We do this, we do this, we do this, we
Ooh,
do
I
this,
like
and
that.
we have like
Yeah.
a recurring thing that we do, right? So our faith remains the same. And then after a while, we just get so used to it where we're just doing it not out of faith, just out of act and just out of like no emotions on what we used to. So that's why it's so important, to faith with no works is dead, right? So you
Yeah.
always want to increase in works, and I live by, like, the stronger your faith is, the stronger and more battles you're going to have in life, right? Because what's faith without tests? What's faith without battles? What's faith without challenges, right? So whenever you're faced with a bigger challenge, guess what? Your faith has to increase. And the way I live, the way I like kind of like put my mindset to is like, you know I like to set myself up not for failure, but for success, only because I'm going to rely on God through everything, right? I'm going to, rely on
Ooh, I
God
like
doing
that.
X, Y, and Z. Like for me, moving to Louisiana, I didn't know what I was doing, right? But I just banked on God and now look at the outcome, right? So now I'm in a position to where, like, if I can do something as big as moving, leaving X, Y, and Z, like my family, et cetera, I can go the far, I can go the distance, right? And now I know for myself that whenever I'm just in a recruiting state, I know I gotta, lock in, I gotta flip something, I gotta, I gotta put a move to something.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I'm not saying, go spend $1,000 cash on X, Y, and Z, and then now you go bankrupt, right? Because
Yeah.
it doesn't work like that. You feel what I'm saying? You got to really take educated risk. You got to take educated thought. You got to really sit and like think. And then when it comes down to it, when it's all set in stone, like the first image you had, it's not going to be the same going through the process. However, it's going to be better, right? Because your faith increased through the process, right? Like through the trials and through the tribulations, through the ups and through the downs. But the one thing that's most important is that you have to hold on to that faith, right? Because you can face a problem, you can face a challenge, and how are you going to react? Are you going to be like, oh man, I can't do it, I give up? Or are you going to say, you know what, I got this, God is with me, how can I lose? You know what I'm saying? So it really comes down to the way you put yourself in situations, and who 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 you're trusting in the situations too as well. Because a lot of the times what we do wrong is, we try to rely on our own means, we try to rely on our own self, we try to rely on our own thoughts, rather than trusting the one who brought us to the situation, God gave us the mind, gave us the idea. And then that's where the key difference is at, because you lose your faith trying to rely on yourself. You lose your faith trying to win by yourself, but you gain your faith by relying on God. You gain your faith by, doing the things that's most pleasing to Him. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got a question though. So
Yeah,
if somebody like loses, if somebody has lost their faith, how can they like gain their faith? Like how what can
yeah.
help them gain faith?
So for me, I'm not gonna say I'm perfect, right? To where like I always have super faith, but
Yeah.
my faith never is rock bottom. Like, alhamdulillah, like God, thank you for please give me a increase of faith. But my faith has never like touched bottom. And the way you always stay in faith is just by knowledge, of course. Yeah, reading like me, I read the Quran, or I watch YouTube video to give myself that push. But if you outside of that, what I like to do for myself is I like to just, sit in a moment of gratitude, right? Like I like to just, take a deep breath to just say, thank you God for this, thank you God for this, thank you God for that, thank you God for this, thank you
Mm.
God for this coming up, this event coming up, right? So I can just be in a moment of awe. Whenever you're in a moment of awe, you start to like open yourself up to gain more faith. You feel what I'm saying? Because you start to realize like, damn, God did all this for me. Like I'm
Mm.
grateful. Whenever you become
Yep.
grateful, things open up for you. So I like, for me personally, I like to sit in a moment of gratitude for like 10 to 15 minutes, and just just replay everything. You know what I'm saying? What about you, bro? Oh wait, one more thing too. One more thing too. I was watching the other day. Document your 20s. Document all that stuff, right? Like for me, it's crazy. Literally, like a year ago around this time, I was like looking into like the podcast ideas. Like I was like, yo, like I'm gonna start a podcast. I want to do this. I want to do this. So when I was going through my archives, I seen it. I was like, damn, I'm at it now. You know what I'm saying? So it felt
Yeah.
good to have that moment of gratitude.
That's facts, man. I was about to say literally something similar, bro. I was about to say journal, man. Like journal, it was a
Journal, yeah.
way that I found, I increased my faith, and it was something similar, like you said. Like you write something down, you write a plan, you write a goal, and you actually trust in it, and you do what you have to do, and over time, you'll see that your plan will slowly get fulfilled. And once your plan is
Yeah.
fulfilled, that increases faith because now it's like, oh shoot, the things I
You brought me
did,
this
the
far.
things I said, yeah, it really happened. That's when you come into gratitude. Like Dede was saying, that gratitude that helps increase faith. Like that's the main thing that increases faith is gratitude. Because once you're just
Yeah,
grateful, you looking around, what's going on around you, you realize how blessed you really are. Once you like,
yeah,
I feel like a lot of times I feel like people don't go around enough to see what's going on in the world, so they don't really know what's going on sometimes. But for the most part, like if you think about it, like I work in a hospital, so most of the time I'm seeing patients that are very sick, very hurt. They're like dang near on their deathbed, right? So those moments give me a lot of gratitude because it's like
I
I'm
like that.
alive. You get what I'm saying? I get to
Right,
wake up every day. And so little moments like that with gratitude throughout your day will allow you to increase your faith. So now it's like in the mornings I wake up and I'm just thanking God I woke up in the morning, like every morning,
I like
like,
that.
and it's because you see patients like this, you see other people not doing well, you see homeless people throughout your day. So be grateful for where you're at. Yeah, you may not be super rich, you may not be living in a mansion right now, but you got a roof over your head, you got clothes on your back, you got food in your belly, like you eating, you could drink water, like you're good, you woke up today, you got air in your lungs, like these are the things that you're grateful about, and that will increase your faith daily. Like if you just think about that daily and thank God daily for those things, everything else that you naturally do, you will just increase your faith in it. Like, oh, I trust God to get me through this. I trust God to get me through this because at the end of the day, He got you through the night and woke you up in the morning. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
So
I like that. Yeah, I like that. That's tough. That's tough. I think when it comes down to like building your faith, it's three main things, right? Gratitude, and for me, it's a little scary, but it's the truth. Like you said, I like to
exactly.
like remember death, right? Like remember, like we can always die. Like death is always near. I don't know when I'm gonna die, so I always have that constant thought of like, end times can be soon. So if I let's say for instance, if I get off this podcast and I go smoke, and I die right then and there, my last deed was smoking. But before that, I was on a podcast giving out information, right? So where what state do I want to die in? You know what I'm saying? So you always gotta have that thought of death.
That's
And
facts.
then also to always increase faith is it's community, right? Like always to be around somebody else or to be able to like reach out to somebody else, because one person faith can be stronger than another, and that one person can have a regular simple talk with them, and that person words kind of motivated them, encourage them to increase their faith, and now their faith is up. You know what I'm saying? So community is also big as well, honestly, in my
That's
opinion.
facts. I agree, man. I agree, man. I ain't got no more questions, right? You got any more questions for today? Nah,
Nah,
those are
that's
two
really
fire
it.
topics, man. What's your closing words for today?
Yeah. My closing words for today is going to be stay true to your faith, stay true to religion. Um, always not my fault. Excuse me. Stay true to your faith and stay true to your God. Just believe in God. Just always strive to get closer to Him. It's going to be hard. It's going to be days where you feel like you're stuck, but the days you feel like you're stuck is the days you feel like you're stuck are the days you're making the most improvement. Only because you're those days you're constantly gonna be like, God help me, God guide me, God do this, God do this. And whenever you ask for God for something, He's always gonna come through, right? And the best dua, the best prayer is seeking for guidance and seeking for knowledge. So for sure, those are my closing words for the day. Keep going, keep striving, and it feels good to be where we are right now. Honestly, but it's hard.
Facts.
It's hard to be. Yeah,
Facts, man.
yeah,
Facts,
it's
man.
good, bro.
My closing words for today, man. I'm gonna say, put yourselves out there a little bit more, man. Stop being, scary, shy, whatever. Stop thinking that other people care as much because they really don't. Just be yourself, man. Be your truest self. Be you. Do the things that you want to do. I know we always be like, live life how you want it, but that's the reality, man. Live life how you vision it, man. How God gave you that vision, how He gave you that plan, man. Write it down and complete it. That's all you got to do, man. Do it. Trust in it, and slowly your faith will increase, man. You'll see you start to tally things off as you keep going down your list month by month. So just keep doing
Yeah,
that. Keep striving with that,
yeah,
man. Keep grinding. Love y'all boys, man. This is episode 49. We'll be back for 50 tomorrow at 8 p.m., man. Make sure y'all tune in, man. We love y'all, man. Stay safe,
yeah.
stay blessed. Peace out, man.
Stay tuned.